Have you ever heard the term casting lots? If you've read very many stories in the Bible, you've probably heard that phrase many times, and I found it interesting in looking at this phrase, why people did it, why it's not mentioned anymore after Christ came, and why it's dangerous to still do it. Casting lots was an ancient practice of making decisions so that no argument would ensue over what to do with a group of people. It was also used to randomly select an item from a group or how to make a decision and then call it God's will. It was up to chance, like tossing a coin or rolling dice. People back then used small objects like stones or sticks, and then they tossed them or cast them. When Jesus died on the cross, it says soldiers cast lots for his garments. When Judas betrayed Jesus, they cast lots to see who to replace him with. And in the story of Jonah, we read that lots were cast to see who had sinned and who to throw overboard from the ship. In all of those stories, it was the casting of lots and the outcome that people then associated with the will of God. And this today, if we do this, can be dangerous, and here's how it might look. Maybe we pray about a decision, and we give God the dice, so to speak, and we say, God, if it's sunny today, I'll do this. If it's cloudy, I'll do that, and then I'll count it as your will. That's dangerous when we do that, because when we demand a sign or random occurrence, we're then placing our faith in that outcome and not just trusting God. Proverbs 16 says, the lot is cast into the lap, but every decision is from the Lord. In other words, casting lots, rolling dice, can be a way to make an arbitrary decision like where to go eat dinner, but decisions that are life-changing come from the Lord. Have you ever drawn straws? Usually that method is used to pick which person has to do some action no one else wants to do. So the one who gets the short straw has to do the dirty work. Coin tosses are still used in football games to determine which team receives the ball to begin the game. We cannot and should not live our life with Christ by casting lots, throwing dice, or drawing straws, because this eliminates the need for intimacy with Christ. What I find interesting is that after Christ sent his Spirit, the meaning of cast changes altogether, and we've talked about this before. We now cast our cares on him because he cares for us. There's a familial connection with a holy God who directs our paths and leads us, not a random choice of whether the sun shines or clouds show up on a given day. This is huge. No longer do we have to make important decisions by casting lots. Sure, we can toss a coin when kids argue about which board game to play with the family, or where to go get fast food when kids want something different. A coin is tossed perhaps when a drawing is made and the decision is final. Even at Christmas, there's a popular game where you pick a number to choose a gift and then you steal a gift from another, kind of casting lots. Some of us never get past this position in our walk with Christ, as we believe all things are random. We can give God demands and wake up and follow this or that to make decisions on how to live. This can lead to danger, and it leads us away from trusting his Spirit, who guides us to live and lead through his word. Romans 12 says we are being transformed in the renewal of our minds so that we can prove what is the will of God, good, acceptable, and perfect. After Christ died and conquered death, he came to dwell in us so that we're transformed in our minds to follow him and do his will, which is simply to love God and love others. I remember when I was a kid, I just opened the Bible and randomly placed my finger on a verse and would count that as God's verse for me that day. Bad idea. I wouldn't know the story or the context or who was speaking. It was just a simple way to start the day without any time in the Word or worshiping him. Casting lots should be left where it was, to vote or cast or draw to make a decision to keep away arguments, but never on how to live and walk with Christ. Casting our cares on him is the way to live, free from anxiety, resting in the knowledge that he cares and directs our paths. And his word is a lamp to our feet and to our path, not sticks and stones.